very happy to be here. Thank you so much. Namaste. I met Priyanka once at an airport, actually, when we were transferring flights, and I think I was going to southern India and she was going to a wedding in India. She's so lovely, so lovely, such a lovely actress and wonderful person. But it was really, I've only been to southern India, and I was so, and we were in Karakuti, and it was such a beautiful place. And the food was so delicious, and it was utterly different for me. I'm drawn to people in emotional dilemmas, because I think that that's interesting, because I feel like that's sort of where we live.
Did it take some time for you to come out of the hysteria and the madness around Harry Potter?
Not really. I was only in the last two films, so I didn't feel like I'd been a huge part of the whole thing. I kind of came in at the end. But I was very proud to be a part of it because I love the movies and love the books.
When Julianne said yes, it kind of was quite emotional for me, because I was just reminded of being in a cinema watching Magnolia and being stunned by all these talented actors. And so when I met her, I was a bit nervous.
Hello everybody, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. My guest today is so talented. She's been entertaining us for years. And of course, the Oscar-winning Julianne Moore. Thank you for doing this. Welcome to Zoom TV and welcome to India.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Really excited. There are so many films where you play these messy women, who kind of figure it out. So in an interview you mentioned, I remember you said that I am not choosing to play the women who need help, but I'm just trying to play real characters. Do you feel sometimes you get that kind of feedback from people who've seen your films?
I think that I'm drawn to people in emotional dilemmas, because I think that that's interesting, because I feel like that's sort of where we live. I realize that so often I'm in movies where a character is conflicted about the kind of life that they want to live, or the relationship that they're in, or kind of what to do next, just in terms of how they want to live their life. So because I think that that's kind of the stuff of human life. That's where most of us are. And I'm not often in movies where people, I don't know, travel to space or achieve something great, or I haven't been in a whole lot, not that I wouldn't, but I realize that I do have an attraction to emotional films and to relationship films. Yeah. So sometimes, and those things are messy. And in order for them to be dramatic in a film too, they will, if people were happy in these films, there probably would be no movie.
Well, talking about Echo Valley, I must also mention congratulations for Sirens, because you were so amazing in it as well.
Thank you.
I mean, look at the difference in the two.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty much you. You're playing these absolutely different characters in such in amazing ways. Julian, I want to know, how was it building that chemistry with someone like Sydney here? Because it's an extremely difficult equation that you're trying to portray as well. And you're a mother. Sometimes do you think that plays into when you're playing these complex characters, whether you should protect them, or whether you should scold them, or whether you should deal with them in a certain way?
Sydney was such a dream to work with. She really is such a lovely, lovely actress, and she's so professional, so incredibly prepared, and really emotionally available. And she was interested in exploring this relationship too. I'm the mother of an adult daughter. She's the adult daughter of a mother. We both know what this relationship is like. We've both been through adolescent years. We both were. It's so we know about the volatility. We know about how the relationship can bear so much. We sort of were familiar with all of that. I think we wanted to bring that to this relationship, that idea of these two people who are, like so close, have such utter closeness, but then also can blow up, who have a tremendous history with one another. And in a sense, there's something similar about them. There's something that you discover later, this extreme about both of them. And so it was wonderful to have a partner, like Sydney, who was so quick to attach to those ideas and so reliable as a scene partner.
You visited India, so you must tell me what you liked most about our country. Any film that you watched? And of course, meeting Priyanka, she looked very excited when she was posing all the pictures with you.
Oh, Priyanka, the funny thing is that when I was on my way to India, I think maybe I don't know, I met Priyanka once at an airport, actually, when we were transferring flights. And I think I was going to Southern India and she was going to a wedding in India. She's so lovely, so, so lovely, such a lovely actress and wonderful person. But it was really, I've only been to Southern India and I was so, and we were in Karakuti, and it was such a beautiful place, and the food was so delicious, and it was utterly different for me. I mean, really, really, really wonderful. I mean, I think by God, the temples and the flower markets and the atmosphere, and I'd love to go back. I really want to see more, but I was just absolutely enchanted.
We want and we hope that you come back to India and visit us again. We love you, Julianne.
Thank you.
And I will say namaste and bahut pyar.
Thank you so much. Namaste. Thanks.
Pyar means love. So thank you so much, Julianne. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
All the
Bye-bye.
best. Thank you for doing this, Domhnall. We're very excited.
It's nice to talk to you. Thank you very much for having me.
When you're a part of a series like that, it kind of sticks on, right? Did it take some time for you to come out of the hysteria and the madness around Harry Potter?
Not really. I was only in the last two films, so I didn't feel like I'd been a huge part of the whole thing. I kind of came in at the end, but I was very proud to be a part of it because I loved the movies and loved the books. And so, no, it was only a positive thing. There was nothing negative about it or difficult about it. It was all good.
Of course. And are you excited about the new series as well?
Yeah. I mean, I like it's happening really quickly, but I think that's kind of really cool, and I think it'll really work on television. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Of course. You describe your character in Echo Valley as a manipulator. Tell me how easy or difficult it is to play a character like that, who's so morally corrupt, but still very honest in that way.
In terms of being easy or difficult, it's like the difficult bits are the prep and looking into his background, where he would be from, how he would have grown up, what his living conditions would be like. Imagining all that stuff that you don't see on screen. That's all like your work away from camera. And then on camera, it was really easy. It was really fun to try different levels of manipulation, different levels of like empathy or connectedness, or whether he's just in control. So actually it was a very fun process because I was also working with a fantastic director, great cinematographer and amazing actors with a really strong script. So actually it was just fun, to be honest with you.
What is something really fun that you learned about your co-stars, Julianne and Sydney, while shooting this?
Well, they're both very easy to work with. Like, they're both fantastic actors. They've both done brilliant work before. The story's quite dark. What's happening in the film is, pretty dark. There's lots of laughs and good times throughout. Fiona Shaw is brilliant about bringing some lightness into it, her scenes with Julianne. But despite it being a dark story and quite serious things happening, it was actually a really fun place to go to work. We were filming out in the countryside. We were around horses we were our own little group. And I sort of really enjoyed going to work with them when I was there. I was working like 2 or 3 days a week, and it was perfect. I got to go in and then have a really nice time in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. It was great.
Fantastic. All right. But of course, the last one is that excited about the paper, and are you getting annoyed with all the comparisons with The Office?
Why would you be annoyed? No. We'll do our own thing, but like it's set in the same universe as The Office. We have one of the characters from The Office in our show. Oscar's in our show, and a really important part of our show. So comparisons are inevitable, but we just have to do our own thing and hope that people will see us as our own show. But no, comparisons are always going to happen. So no, it's all good.
I love this story because we are very excited. But along with this, and do you have any Indian film that you ever liked or watched?
Any Indian film that I ever liked or watched? I'm gonna have to think about that. Nothing comes to mind off the top of my head. But I also got asked my favorite thriller earlier on, and I couldn't think of a single thriller. So yeah, I might just need more coffee.
Not a problem, but we really enjoyed chatting with you. Thank you so much, Domhnall. It was a pleasure. All the best.
Thank you very much.
My guest today is extremely talented, and of course, he has a knack for telling stories beautifully. I'm talking about Michael Pearce, and here we are, of course, going to talk about Echo Valley. A lot is happening. when you're talking about this mother-daughter intense relationships, in your head, how do you figure out the right way to say it?
The right way to, I think, I mean, I would feel lost if I didn't have complicated relationship like that. That's what I look for on the page. And then I look for actors that also respond to that kind of complexity. And so what I loved about that relationship, it was that it was always changing. It was very dynamic. Sometimes it was very loving relationship, and there were kind of there's two women that care for each other and nurture for each other. And sometimes it's a very broken relationship, and it's two women that really know how to hurt each other. And that felt, I know people that have relationships like that between, of parent and child. So I need that kind of material in a script to get really excited, and I think actors like Sydney and Julie, it's the same. They really want to get their teeth stuck into something that has all these different permutations to it. And so in terms of finding the right tone, and for me, it's just always about trying to ground the performances in a way that they feel authentic and real. And with a film like this, where there's some extraordinary things that happen, I felt we just really needed to take, the relationships seriously to get the audience's investment.
You said that it was always in your bucket list kind of to work with Julianne, and you finally got to do it with this film. Tell me how that must have been, because she's extremely talented.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember when I was 17, I think, when I decided I wanted to be a film director, and I saw Magnolia that summer, and it just, that film continues to blow me away, and her performance was so great. And then as I was discovering more American, indie movies from directors I loved, I saw more of her performances, like from Far From Heaven and Safe, and I would go back and watch Shortcuts. And there were just so many seminal performances and so many seminal movies. And it's not like I said in the back of my head, literally, I want to work with her, but she was, I suppose, I never kind of dreamt that I could do that at that stage. And so when Julianne said yes, it kind of was quite emotional for me, because I was just reminded of being in a cinema watching Magnolia and being stunned by all these talented actors. And so when I met her, I was a bit nervous because I'm meeting a hero, and I try to hide that because I want to meet her as a peer, and I don't think any actor needs their director to be starstruck by them. But I think Julianne, she knows everyone in the film industry holds her in such high esteem. She's not unaware of yeah, the effect she might have on people, and she's very generous. She puts me at ease, and so we could collaborate quite easily.
Yeah, of course. And Sydney often has said that because she's done some very, very interesting and powerful roles in the past, it's very easy to typecast her, even if she's tried to explore whether it's sexuality, whether it's exploring the deepest, darkest minds through her characters. And she's felt like she's easily stereotyped. I feel like you see a very different person in this as well. Yes, she's messy. What do you think of when you're working with her, and in the kind of process and the kind of energy that she got to the set?
Yeah, I mean, I was like a lot of people. I was so struck by her performance in Euphoria. It just seemed, she was under a lot of extreme duress in that TV show, and so there was a rawness to her, which I needed for this role. But there's also warmth to Sydney as a character, and I thought that was appropriate as well, because I wanted the audience to kind of see the potential of who this character could have become if she stayed on the right path, and you maybe want to reach out to the screen and also save her, and there's a sweetness there. So I think it was great working with Sydney, because she has very easy access to her emotions. As soon as you say action, she's just plugged into the electrical charge of the character, and she can go from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds, which I find is kind of uncanny to witness, because the character again is in such a raw emotional place a lot of the time. And sometimes film sets, they're quite, they're quite technical places. You're changing a lens, you've got to change your mark on the floor, you've got to do a touch up on makeup. So it's incredibly impressive to see an actor like Sydney who could relax between takes and then just go to an extreme place when the camera was switched on, and then relaxed and chat with Julie, and we would change a camera angle, and then she's back there again. So I was stunned by her talent. It was just impressive to watch her go like that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael. It was wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Have a nice day.